Welcome back to the LCO. It's Blue Side Focus, which is exactly what Antic have gone for. Max has lost the house. He's still smiling, but deep inside he's very, very upset.
Well, the landlord's coming soon, and we'll see what he has to say. But for the time being, we really do have a series on our hands. It looked like for a second there, I was a bit scared that Antic were just going to run away with this thing and Team Bliss were going to completely give up mentally. But they did manage to completely turn it around there. A change of side really did seem to be the thing that they needed, and they're going to be continuing on that same side here.
They certainly are. They're going to still stick with those original bans like we saw in the Game 3 as well. All we need is the Azir to come out, and we do run it back time and time again. Really hasn't been that much of a variation. You mentioned that the Varus should be first pick worthy, overvaluing the Xayah, and that's exactly what they think.
Yeah, so literally the exact opposite of what we saw in the previous game going to come out here. This time it will be actually the Xayah Rakan picked up, so that whole duo going over to Violet and Scott. But still, the Varus in the hands of King going to likely be able to secure the push, given that they have support counter pick as well. So adaptations across the board here. Mid lane already targeted with those Ori and Azir bans that came out previously, which does leave a little bit of room there to pick up something. Now, instead of picking a range champion, Draku's going to lock in this Nautilus. He's looked so good on it so far, and already so much CC threat coming out from this bot lane duo.
Certainly is the case. Yeah, it's no need for them to even consider the likes of the on-hit Varus with the pairing of Renata. They're valuing the early game aggression far too much and say that Xin, that was an issue. And we're going to make sure that Swiper gets his hand on that one with the Nautilus too. Make sure that we have the ability to run the early game and basically repeat what happened in games 1 and 2.
Well, this is what you love about playoffs, right, and best of fives, is the fact that you can come in here and really take away what was so strong against you. Something that Team Bliss did find going in their favor, however, was this Udyr in Game 3. Now, yeah, there's the TF ban. I assume Gnar perhaps as well will be taken out, not wanting to give over that response, as Biopanther looks to really pick up this annoying tank in the top lane.
Certainly does. The Udyr similarly a good deterrence to the Twisted Fate, which they will in fact ban away. So really for the side of Zoranis, it's been, do I play the TF or do I play the Gnar? Either way, it's looked really, really strong. They did get shut down in that previous affair. Let's see what the response to Antic would be. They will remove away this Taliyah, still showing so much respect to the double AP setup as you've already highlighted.
I mean, it's just so good into Xin Zhao as well as the Nautilus, right? The champion who wants to hook in really can struggle against all the DPS that a Taliyah can provide someone running away. So there will be the Gnar ban. Now, Skimmy, look, I know it's probably not going to happen, but there is a Varus currently locked in. We know Zoranis has played it towards the top lane, and it's a fantastic pick at going against tanks. So with these two ranged champions removed, there always is the possibility that you put that up there towards the top side. But for the time being, it will be up to Wino to see what he wants to pick up here. Obviously, the 5P was saved last game for the Syndra. It's just going to be Viego locked in here for Wino.
Will be the Viego. Oh, such a dicey little champion. You either feast or famine. You fall behind, you do less than your support. If you get ahead, you are the star of the show. Urgot comes out! Wow, wow, wow. We have not seen this champion in a very long time. An absolute Zoranis classic.
Okay, yeah, this is an OG Zoranis pick. Really something that you see emerge in the meta every so often, because it can deal with a niche champion, and that champion is going to be the Udyr. So the thinking is the laning phase is really fun. You're able to scale up, and then even if Udyr is super tanky, you have enough burst to be able to take him down below that fear beyond death threshold, and then pull him in for the easy kill here. Now the answer will be an Akali coming out here from Hayri. Not too much CC in the top side of Team Bliss, but certainly a lot of damage.
Certainly a lot of damage. Oh, this is really a spicy way to try and answer back in a game 4 and prevent the reverse sweep motion from finding too much momentum, and also just to close things out, to not let it come down to a game 5 scenario where the nerves are really in perpetual cycle of anxiety. But either way, Max, I mean, what are you looking at this one and thinking, does either team have a overwhelming draft advantage?
Look, I would prefer to be Antic's draft here, and that's plain and simple just because they have so much CC coming out. Every single champion here has the ability to really start off a play, and we've seen what Antic are able to do when they're able to link up and find skirmishes, particularly through that support jungle link up. Draku on his Nautilus will be looking to get King ahead, and the key factor is the fact that he's on the Varus this time. It's on Antic's hands, this pick that was so dominant in the previous game and really enabled Bliss to find their first win of the series. So coming in here, I mean, Skimmy, my focus is on the top lane. Like, you see an Urgot here picked up. It's such a cool and niche champion. It's really going to be interesting to see how they're able to make use of it here.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since we last saw this. Actually, just over 2 years to the date. Last played it into a Vayne back when he was on the Direwolves roster in 2-piece. This time into the Udyr. So as you counted me last game, it's my time to answer back and counter you again. Obviously with the best skin in the game too. He's looking ever so cute and cuddly.
Gorgeous.
But ready to deal unholy amounts of damage. Antic looking to close it out still with another match point. Bliss wanting to take it to a game number 5.
And you do hope, if you're a Team Bliss fan, that the last game was enough to provide you with that mental reset, right? Obviously, it can be so hard in the playoffs with such a small turnaround time between series. But now we can see the Team Bliss, they're recharged, coming off a win, which is a nice change for them. Nothing really too out of the ordinary in terms of the rune pickups here. You can see the cleanse for Violet, obviously acknowledging the amount of CC that's able to come through. Even with that Feather Storm, doesn't want to take any chances. Whereas King has gone for the Ghost. So this Varus specking into the on-hit build to really dish out that amount of DPS.
Yeah, really has been the name of the game in the most recent weeks. A big deviation away from this lethality variation. And it's the case of, yeah, well, I could absolutely crush it in lane. But I want to make sure that we have the damage to really play those front to backs, as we talked about really at the top of the show. They're our classic brand for the LCO. Front to back all day, every day. And win out in that fashion. Quick little fun fact for you, Max. Only 7 games in the world have been played of Urgot on Season 14. Actually has a 71% win rate.
I mean, actually, hold on here. Zoroark's getting a big trade in the top lane. The PTA, so much value as player, will tick level 2. But yeah, the 7 games really speaks to the fact that you have to be a true master of this champion. Not a meta pick by any stretch of the imagination at this point in time, but always can exist in those moments where you need a bit of frontline and you need that ability to get some burst. And that's kind of the name of the game for me, for Antic's comp, right? Is you have a Syndra, you have a Varus, you have an Urgot now. They're all about picking up that one target who missed positions and taking them off the face of the earth. And
if nothing more, Max, we already kind of briefly mentioned it when he was playing the Gnar, but I feel like Urgot is one of those go-to champions that will purchase Hullbreaker. The split push has been Zoroark's namesake all series long. This champion, no exception.
Yeah, certainly synergizes very well with that item up there in the top lane. And taking a look at the side lanes, right, he's against that double AP. Both Udyr and Akali going to be opting for that. So we're checking with the mid lane, and Hayri is paying so much respect here in this matchup. You can see not wanting to give over any opportunity for either a trade or a gank to come through. That really is what you love about Hayri as a mid laner. He's always so disciplined, always so hard to exploit. And after this wave, should be pretty even in CS with Ryoma.
Well, he's had to bear the brutal nature of Hayri showcasing his class on this champion, but this for Ryoma is his main. 65 games played as the Syndra. Second would be Azir on 56. You think how many times he's played Azir this split alone? Still so far behind that Syndra champion. So if he's seen a masterclass from Hayri, it's time to flip it around.
Okay, Skimmy, I actually have to jump in here. I was quickly just checking the patches and his synergy with Hullbreaker. So on this patch 14.3, the Hullbreaker bug is still active. The fact that it procs every 5 autos, if you're using an Urgot W, that procs every second essentially. So you are able to completely machine gun through turrets. So really this item becomes so much more valuable as well. It's caught here.
Looking for the classic level 4 dive to bot lane, and they may just evade it. I speak too soon. First blood goes the way of King. He burns double summoners, but he gets the handsome reward.
He gets the kill. Violet there, it looked like he'd flashed the initial CC, but the wind becomes lightning and the Varus Q are able to find him there. So in the bot lane, a really nice gank by Swiper, coming from a bit of an unexpected path, will pick up first blood for King.
That's what you love to see. Blue side Zinza proving to be profitable time and time again. Scott baiting, allowing Wynot to try and find his moment to strike. He jumps into lane. King is dead. He knows it. He walks into the tower, and Wynot profits.
Yeah, coming off the reset there, Wynot will punish that wave crash. Just walks up and picks up the kill. Not a single summoner having to be used there to equalize the kill score now. We can check in the mid lane. Harry obviously getting very bullied in these early stages of this matchup. To be expected, Syndra will have a firm control of this lane until that perfect execution comes online. But it will mean that Harry has to expend the TP to get back to lane here and collect this CS. Swiper will use that window to pick up the first 3 Void Grubs for Antic.
He certainly will. And really is relying upon the priorities found both in top and mid. Both Ryoma and Zornish showcase just how strong they are. Very easy then for him to walk in and get all 3 untouched, uncontested. And no real response there from Why Not. Really is an interesting game then. With him opting for the cold start, he wants as much gold as he can get. And that really has been his star power, for lack of a better term, here in this series, Max, hasn't it? Every single time we've checked in with the overall gold, it's always been Zornish' name, position number 1.
And it's incredible because not only obviously he's played 2 games of TF, a champion who inherently gets more gold, but we saw it on the Gnar as well, and he'll be looking to do a similar thing on the Urgot. And this is a player who really has kind of been on the quieter side for Antic. You know, when you're playing with such generational talents like you have in your bot lane mid and really all around the map, it can become the fact that you're a little bit overshadowed at times. But really this playoff series, in the latter half of this season really, he's absolutely come into his own. Even able to contest the likes of BioPanther in lane. I'm very interested to see how he makes this Urgot work. Obviously, you still run into the same issue that you're playing against an Udyr. So even though you're able to execute him once he gets below a certain threshold, you still have to get in there first. He will be incredibly tanky. And to that end, I am looking at Ryoma here, who so far hasn't been able to generate the biggest CS lead, but still has been able to get the priority.
Yeah, given the amount of freedom that Harry showed and respect to allow Ryoma to run that lane as he saw fit, he has been able to do a phenomenal job of keeping up pace with him and not really allowing anybody to try and eke out any sizable advantage. Scott going to go for a face check here, trying to plant a ward in that bot tri-bush, but instantly get punished by Swipe, who jumps into Bladecaller. Not enough to find the route he would have been hoping for, but it does mean that we'll Team Blessing, Why Not, just having so many members in the area, this Dragon is guaranteed.
Yeah, Swiper looking to try to get the knock up there, potentially allow time for the rest of Antic to get through and layer on that CC to find the kill. The lucky-hearted Team Bliss. Too many members in the area. Which able to kite back as the hook will miss from Dracu. Bit of trading back and forth here. But it's a pretty tanky Nautilus. And we can see in the top lane, BioPanther gets E'd.
He gets flipped over, and that spells disaster. Unless he can just immune it all and say, nice gank. But what if I just have my own little ability to dodge all of that? Not often you get to see Ryoma really rotate like that, but into the matchup with the Akali, found a chance and nearly got away with it.
Yeah, also the Fear Beyond Death scoring a goal there means that there will be no chase to come through. And now Zonas in a pretty bad spot actually towards the top lane. Without much mana, he will be forced to take a reset as we see the bot lane is really where the action has returned to. The wave needing to be shoved in by Antic. For the time being, they're not able to find anything significant. While it's just hovering in the area, perhaps as a bit of a counterplay, but also in case Antic can get aggressive, they hook in Dracu. We know he will always take any opportunity, but for the time being, will show some restraint here.
Certainly will show a lot of restraint, as you say. There's 8.5 minutes into this one. Nothing really separating these two teams. Those Void Grubs are about to spawn in just under a minute now, so you'd imagine that these waves would be set up in a position that would allow Swiper to try and play for all 6. And as I say that, Bladecaller comes out, King doesn't get rooted. Fantastic flash to deny that grand entrance, but Why Not's all in on the kill, and they will be so successful in fighting it. Not enough to settle for one. They'll hunt for a second, and they'll be rewarded beautifully.
Beautiful execution, especially from Why Not there. The Flash W is going to find its target, and then that allows Scott to hit 6. The Charm comes through to pick up Dracu on the back end. And just like Game 3, it's this bot lane skirmishing that's going in the favor of Team Bliss that's keeping them in this series.
That it certainly is. It's really started to ramp up here. And you're just wondering, why did it take so long? Why did we have to wait 5 games of defeat for him to finally find the pieces of the puzzle that would link them together so nicely? Either way, though, it's a great start for them to try and accrue a gold lead of their own and begin yet another snowball effect.
Yeah, Snowball not going to be as fast in terms of the Dragon stacking this game, but still looking to work their way towards that soul condition as the hook's onto mid lane.
Certainly is onto mid lane, but Harry can instantly jump into the Shroud, and Scott showing says that this fight never really will amount for much more than just a single dredge line going on through, but it's all that control around mid, especially with Why Not panning towards top side too. They know that those Void Grubs, it would be a dicey game to allow him to get all 6. Oh, look at Zonis instantly flashes onto Why Not's head, flips him over, and says, we're just trying to get you low enough to get that execute! And he gets their fear onto Bio right after. They're not going to be done for one. They'll hope for a second of their own as well, with Draku making the great trick all the way from bot to top. He can miss the hook, but if the auto lands, you're dead.
And there's the Urgot value. The flash flip, incredibly decisive from Zoranis to take out Why Not before the fight even starts. Swiper able to follow, get him below that execute threshold, and take him down. And like you said, Draku is there on the back end of the play. He's been up here the whole time, and that will equalize the kill score. The Grubs as well falling in favor of Antic. But Why Not's here? Sundered Sky completed. He doesn't want to give over that 5th and 6th Void Grub.
Yeah, certainly with the item advantage, they'll have to be content with just finding all 4. You fought for a second there. Maybe Antic could have done enough to get all 6, but with the respawn still being ever so quick, it's not going to be enough in the end. So Bliss will be able to salvage a couple in the end. But let's run it back again, because I just love the confidence from Zoranis to see the gank and to say, yeah, we'll flash that.
Well, that's the thing. I think once he sees Why Not here, he knows he has to go for something. He knows that he'll just get slow chased otherwise. So he's incredibly decisive here, buys enough space for Swiper to get through. The slow is really potent from that Fear Beyond Death, and also lands that Fear onto Bio Panther. Means that Draku coming up, like you mentioned, it's a dodge. It's a nice dodge, but it's back away from his turret, right? Not the right direction. Means that auto is able to come through and pick up the kill there. So a much needed trade from Antic going on the top side of the map here. And we're really seeing what this Urgot pick is all about.
Yeah, we were just mentioning before, right, how Team Bliss were going to try and accrue a bit of a gold lead of their own. They're about up by 800. But as a result of that one, that's all got away. And the Urgot is well and truly here to play now. There is that hole breaker we talked about. And with the Cole nearly cashed in as well, this champion's going to be a bit of a menace.
I just love to see him hit a turret now, especially with the 4 Void Grubs. Hold on.
Depth charge, cancelled by the ultimate. Out of that one, he gets then hit by the hook, but the charm goes out. Draku in trouble. Draku simply going to fall on down. The Crescent Guard not enough to offer any kind of protection, as one of them becomes the Nautilus and barely misses the hook onto Swiper there. But really is a difference of attraction with Why Not playing towards the bot lane, saying we'll stack the dragons, and Antic playing towards top.
And shout out Scott there for blocking the chains of corruption out of that Featherstorm. Violet really could have been taking some serious damage off the back end. But the nice response means that Draku has to commit really far into the play. He goes down, and because he gives that corpse over to Why Not, it also forces the flash out from Swiper. So like you highlighted, it really has been this bot lane priority, these bot lane skirmishes that have been falling in favor of Team Bliss. And that is really where they're finding their advantage. Now with 1 minute left on the turret plates, I'm expecting to see a bit of action from Zoranis. So we see top lane, he will be able to get some value here out of the Hull Breaker and look to grant himself even more gold.
Yeah, well, no doubt once we get to see him get one of those turrets, see just how much gold he has. Let's run it back on this clip initially, because out of the shadows, he hops in with the Hex Flash. Beautifully buffered, but as you say, really well done by Scott.
I mean, there is a cleanse to come through even if that does hit, but I think it's more so the fact that he's jumping in front of all the damage as the threat comes out. And Draku then has just committed everything. He has nothing left in his arsenal, which means he will just fall down as a result. And this is the power of Osiris. Hold on, we're seeing the power of Akali right now.
Yeah, Roma, fantastic scatter of the week, but he can't dodge out all that burst! The ultimate onto Why Not, but the aggro of the tower onto Hayri. And this Viego is packing a punch.
It's beautiful from Why Not. He's so aggressive with his flashes there, even though, like you said, gets interrupted somewhat by the scatter of the week. The Spectral Maw still lands, and that's the important part. Hayri as well, being able to pick up the kill is huge here. This Akali was stuck in lane phase, pulling down to Syndra early, is now 20 CS and a kill up. So whilst Antic will get towards this Herald, things are going and falling in the flavor of Bliss.
Certainly are, and whilst Roma's stats could suggest that he's been an absolute DPS titan, which he has, to sustain a 1000 DPM average across all the games played, both regular and playoffs, is simply phenomenal. Hayri has shown that he is the lane monster, much like his AD carry counterpart, and Violet has shown that, yeah, we will just crush you in lane, and you'll have no answers back as a result of that one. I think both of you, or both of us rather, are just so keen to see top lane unanswered for a second, and just see how much work this Urgot can do.
I just need to see him be able to one-shot a turret. I'm sure we'll get an opportunity later on, but I think Bio very cognizant of the fact that he has to eat these waves a fair bit out of turret, or else Zoranus will be looking for that push. And you can see time and time again, this Frozen Heart Udyr is just so annoying. The rock solid passive that you're getting works so well into Urgot. That means you shouldn't really be falling down unless there's someone else in the area. Now for the time being, bot lane for Team Bliss have rotated towards the mid lane. Violet, you can see pushing the turret there. Zoranus, he's bored. He'll just go proxy.
He's had enough. He said, you're denying me time and time again. Let me just have some fun with a slate. I know nobody's going to come to gank me, because if they do, I'll simply kill them as well. Certainly has the damage for it. And even Vio's going to say, well, if you're going to do that, then I'll look to try and match in response as well. So top lane is definitely on an island. And I think you don't mind that too much, because Whiteout would love to just continue to get this Akali ahead and make sure that Violet can hit that 2-item spike first.
Absolutely, and I think Antic are much more pressured to want to fight around top lane because they have that Urgot, right? I think if you're Udyr, you don't care. The game can literally take place without you being involved, and you are very happy because you know you'll be rocking up late game to be able to offer all of that damage, all that tankiness as well. This build is indexing towards, so once again, Spire, you can see he just is taking the wave, making sure the Zoranus doesn't get a chance to hit this turret. He gets one auto, woohoo! But he isn't able to unleash the full W there like we'd want to see. And once again, very slow affair here as we transition into the mid game. Violet working his way towards perhaps cracking a mid lane turret. But as for now, this next Herald is really where we're expecting the next bit of action to come out of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with another minute or so before that dragon can be looked at, you're certainly thinking that the Herald would be the difference maker to allow Antic to open up more map space, because Team Bliss are starting to feel themselves, and whilst the gold lead is still dead even, which has been a bit of a common theme for the majority of these games, especially by the time we get to level 20 minutes, I should say. That's when Daylight seems to become a bit of a difference, but we'd love the Herald to go the way of Antic to really showcase what this Urgot can do, especially with the Hull Breaker. But for Team Bliss, it almost feels comical that we've had so many of these Chemtech Souls, because the extra plants from that sustain, the increased range of these blast cones, even the vision gained has been phenomenal.
It's really transformative as well, and I think that it can be especially good for the flankers in this game. I think that Harry is in particular going to benefit from that, right? Being able to find all these unique angles that he wouldn't have been able to access before, and that can really help him bridge the gap onto the backlines. If he gets onto them now with a needlessly large rod and proto belt in his inventory, he certainly will be blowing them up. It will be the Herald summoned in this mid lane. More of a distraction than anything as the rest of Antic head towards this dragon. But there's all 10 players in towards this dragon.
They certainly are all collapsing, but look at Harry. Fantastic flank. He hasn't used the TP. He's biding his time. Blast going into the back lane. One target in mind. Kill this Varus. But Urgot says no. He jumps in. That fear is spread around like lightning as he looks to basically take the entire world on his own. Harry in the backline gets locked down by Draku. King is rapid fire attacking from afar. The rain of arrows is not enough. He flashes out of that one and is out of range of this Urgot. So quick, so nimble as the Akali. Even in the shadows, he disengages the way to safety. There are the chem plants to give him the sustain, and the blast going to say goodbye.
Harry just manages to get away there in what is an incredibly close fight on either side. Antic with the initial pick from Zoranus flashes in, delivers the fear onto basically the entire enemy team. But it's a backline combo of Harry and Whiteout that are really able to put pressure onto the rest of Team Bliss. Hold on, Zoranus is dead.
Yeah, he stuck around a little bit too long there to get that tower in the mid lane to find the first one of the game. But with TPs, respawns, and everybody collapsing, they said, look, you're not going to get away with that one. Back to Dragon we go.
Back to Dragon, the third one it would be for Team Bliss here. You can see with this numbers advantage, they should just be able to pick this one up. Harry and Ryoma confined to the top lane now. No TP on either of those mid laners. So it will just be this Chemtech Dragon falling to the side of Team Bliss. And really was a scrappy occasion. We can take a look again at how it starts. Biopanther initially tanking up the Chains of Corruption and all of this damage from Antic. But it's an Udyr. He is very tanky. Scott goes in, gets literally one shot, and the Fear Beyond Death delivery is huge here. 3 members all feared from that. You can see in the backline here, one able to find a fair bit of damage. I think the perfect execution second cast missed, which meant that Ryoma was able to live for a little bit longer than anticipated. Somehow, Harry actually able to make it out here alive, keeping that deathless status, at least for the time being. And with no, I guess, huge advantage in terms of kills going either way, the Dragon really is the deciding factor in the favor of Bliss.
Oh, what a surprise. No chance we'll see Zonis anywhere else but at the top of the table yet again. Up by 700 gold into Violet, and everybody else down at least 1,000 behind that too. And I mean, what do you think of this new Hullbreaker? It seems ever so strong, and I mean, once upon a time you'd say never group up with the rest of your team, but it just feels like the champion offers so much.
I think Urgot's in a really nice spot where he's able to do both, and I think that's what Zorinus benefits from as a player, right? Not only does he have the ability to be almost always required to have someone from the enemy team babysit him, because if he's left alone, he will actually be able to one-shot a turret, but also you saw there, he just synergizes so well with the rest of their comp, right? With all the CC and single target lockdown that they have, if they're able to find one isolated target, you just blow him up like in that previous fight, you get the fear beyond death, and then you really are going to have an easy run of things in the team fight. And for the time being, he's going to hit this turret and Skimmy. I think we might be able to see a Hullbreaker Urgot unleash on a turret.
We don't want to see what Violet's doing right now. Yes, thank you so much, observers. Look at this turret fall on down. Just watch.
It's a bit anticlimactic, I'm going to be honest. He still gets it nonetheless here, and Biopanther will kind of stare at him, take the wave. He's never really going to die here as Zonis is so tanky. But the Biopanther is so tanky with the Frozen Hardened Tabis that he's picked up for himself. And items really all across the board now coming into that 2-item spike. Navori Quick Blades online for Violet, very fed on this Xayah. His counterpart as well in King with the Gwyntu's Rage Blade means he'll actually be able to shred through even someone like Biopanther. And really, Baron's online. It's a threat at any time with the DPS of these teams. But you would anticipate that the Soul in 2 minutes and 30 seconds is really going to be what Team Bliss want to turn their attention towards.
Yeah, once again, another great soul for them to pick up in a scrappy game like this, especially when members are going to be getting low, deny the one-shot that the Syndra will be hoping to find, deny the ramp-up reset that the Varus is hoping for, denied that one-shot that the Urgot needs to get the ball rolling. Definitely going to be very happy with that one. Swiper needs to pay a bit of attention to see that Team Bliss, as a 4-man, own this river, basically. They have no vision at all. They know little to nothing about this, and Team Bliss want to set up a bit of a trap.
Yeah, they're going to look for it here. Draco does smell something in the area, and this ward will find a lot of value. Not any sweepers left until right now, where OneUp's going to be able to use his. And they're continuing to bait. You can see every single member around really wanting to unlock Hayri to get this top lane turret, at least to push onto it. For the time being, it will be Zorinus working in this bot lane. Hullbreaker in hand, not only, is the passive useful, but the fact that you're able to empower those minions makes it so much harder for Biopanther to actually respond.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's a big part of it, right, is the fact that as long as Bio's forced to respond and react to these waves, that's when Antic look the strongest. That's when Zorinus individually has excelled. And how many times have we seen throughout the series where Antic are forcing 4v5s because he's split pushing, and yet they're keeping it even?
Yeah, I mean, that would absolutely be disastrous for the side of Team Bliss if a similar situation were to take place here. And once again, it's the wards that are catching Team Bliss off guard. Scott here on complete vision. Luckily, won't fall victim to a stray hook there, but they do need to be more careful with this sweeping. Time and time again, they've stepped onto a play that they think the enemy has no idea about. And it goes and it backfires on them now with 48 seconds on this Dragon. Do you look for a trade here? Do you look to threaten the Baron here if you're Antic? With the way they're deploying, I think they're opting into the 5v5.
Seems to be the case. One more reset, one more chance to showcase what they can do. 30 seconds on that Soul. Baron obviously up and available. But all that vision will be replaced in just a second from top to bot to seek out those perfect flanking angles. It all started with Hayri really finding such a desirable outcome in that last fight around here. And can he mirror that impact again? As he'll be the one lagging behind. Both mid laners, in fact, will be the ones attending to that side wave first. There will be Ryomed to deploy first. As Hayri holds onto his TP for just a little bit longer, just waiting to see if the Syndra will step up. And revealed now that he's in the mid wave. Surely he groups up too, unless Antic can pull the trigger first.
Well, he has a really nice TP ward. You can see there on the back of the Dragon Pit if he wants to use it and get behind the rest of Antic. He could look for that, as for the time being, he's going to be shoving the wave into the top lane turret. And you're absolutely right. When does he pull the trigger? It's going to be now.
It is going to be now right behind the back of that Baron, or rather Dragon is what they're going to go for. Instantly in with a kill, but Zoranus doesn't burn the ultimate just yet, biding his time, waiting for the moment. We're going to see who we can find amongst it. Dragon has fallen down. The soul was there, can why not claim it? He becomes the Nautilus, but can he get much more? Across the wall they go. Harry the focus, and Harry is dead. Zoranus has got him. The Heartbreaker is there. Is it Heartbreak for the fight? It certainly is, because they get the ace to Team Bliss.
It's reset city for Why Not. He'll take almost every corpse in that fight, and with it, they will absolutely clean house. Every member of Antic down. They don't care about the soul right now. They've got their eyes set on the Baron.
Straight to Baron they go, fully untouched as Violet, full HP, 2 items of desire, burn the ultimate, but you don't touch my summoners.
Yeah, so look at this fight again. You can see Antic feeling a little bit pressured from this TP flank, decides to go in. But look at Violet throughout this entire fight. Even though the engage isn't able to land from Scott, it's really this Xayah who is untouched, able to DPS so well, and that gets Why Not these resets. He's able to pick up the Nautilus. They take down Swiper while Harry is creating confusion in the backline. And look at that, Wind becomes Lightning Flash onto Zoranus, gets the first kill, creates space, and Violet, untouched, secures the ace.
Beautifully done there. Fantastic link up between the Viego as well as the Xayah. As you say, really was the proving ground then for the resets to come on through, to cue up the music, and to start up the party. Up by 3,000 gold now is Team Bliss. They'll pick up the Baron with the free man. Imagine with the respawn ×2, they would have made sure the rest of the team would have gotten that buff online. But Antic will then deny them of that soul point and not allow them to run away with things.
I think this is a bit of a smart choice here from Team Bliss. You can see the Featherstorm just going to come up now for Violet. So if they had opted into running into a straight 5v5, there's always a situation where Violet just gets one shot and suddenly all your Baron buffs are gone. So for the time being, they will opt into trading in the top lane here, pushing both mid and top simultaneously here. And yes, you're getting the bot wave if you're Antic in the bot turret, but I mean, you're going to lose your base. It's a Baron race.
It certainly is right now. It's all waves being pushed at once. Who decides to say enough is enough and go back to base, because Bliss still persevere and push. Scott cancelling that base to go back and look to see what he could find in the bot lane, but ultimately Zoranus is there. Harry responds, and Udi is there too. So the bot lane have to try and 1v2 this Udyr, rather the Zergold, who is taking the fight towards them but can't find the ultimate and does just simply get taken down. They won't have the TP, only Bio will. And this is looking like Bliss want to do some serious damage here.
It's a 5v3 here, Skimmy. They've got the wave, double cannons hitting these turrets. Antic, they're going to have to fight here.
Are they looking to try and go for the end? That is the question. The charm goes out. Nice, nearly did a second knock-up, and Scott is deleted. King untouched the backline. It's that 80 on hit Varus. With all the uptime in the world, they find Why Not as well. A shutdown going his way. The piercing arrow onto Violet, who rips back the feathers and stops Swiper, but Draco with the hook jumping on in. Harry looking for that perfect execution. Jumps in, snipes one. Can he find a second? Locked inside that tower. Aggro off the turret, and Ryoma can't find him. He hits them with that shuriken flip and once again skirts the line of insanity.
Second time this game, Harry has managed to escape from an impossible situation. But really, it was his mechanics on the bottom side of the play that really turned things in favor of Team Bliss. He was 1v2 there and still managed to find the solo kill. As we take a look at this recent fight here, King is so far separated. Chains of Corruption to ensure that the engage from Scott doesn't find him. In fact, the Rakan just dies before he's able to find any damage towards this Varus, and that means that he's free hitting. Lethal Tempo completely stacked up here. He shreds through even Bio at this stage thanks to the hook from Draku, but it's Harry here arrives, saves the day with 2 crucial kills, and somehow, yet again, walks out alive.
He certainly does. He's cheated death on multiple different occasions there. He really is, making sure that he is the clutch factor required to bring us to that game 5. Honestly, if he wasn't showing up there, King just runs rampant and completes the base defense with a quadra kill to his name. Still, the push is on, and even without that Baron buff being active, it's Bliss in the driver's seat. Up by 3,000 gold. You wouldn't think it's enough to show this much of a commanding lead, but they are pushing every single tower and forcing Antic to be the ones to play passive now.
While Zoranus is still in the top lane, he has no TP to be able to instantly join this play. The only saving grace for Antic will be the fact that there's no Baron buff, so this wave is able to be cleared quite easily. You can see those Team Bliss still very firmly have their sights set on cracking open this base fully. Yes, look how dark that jungle is. for the side of Antic. Not a single ward able to reveal any information there. And that makes it so scary to walk up. BioPanther will tank the wave here. He'll be pushing this one in. Meanwhile, Harry is escorting the mid waves. They need to kind of try to sync these waves up, make sure they're all crashing at the same time. Or else Antic, they're just going to walk together as Draku. Hold on.
He's gone for the face check and revealed that 4 members are in the area. Fantastic 3-man scatter of the week. The flash is done, but he's dead already. One goes golden. Harry comes up, gets knocked up, looking to try and get buffered. Perfect execution, waiting for R2. Looking for the execute. He found his target. They want King. The feathers go out. It's a battle between 2 AD carries, but Violet prevails. Ryoma, with the last breath of HP, tries to fight from afar, utilize that Syndra range, and Zoranis says the Zergo, incredibly tanky with that Sterix being popped, defends this last tower with all he's got.
The waves are here though, Skimmy. 4 members alive compared to 3. Draku's up in 8 seconds. But there's all of these minions. Can they hold on?
Can they hold on? That's the all-important question. No ultimates available. None across the board. In jumps Scott, knocking up one. Swipe the focus. Harry jumps in. He gets hooked. But the tower is getting lower and lower. And Harry finally falls on down, having cheated death multiple times. That grand entrance would have been lethal. But the scatter the week is phenomenal. And they're really putting their life on the line right now, doing everything they can to defend this Nexus. But that is simply not enough. Max, we're going to a game 5.
It's a messy ending, but in the face of a 2-0, somehow Bliss have clawed it back. We are going to Silver Scrapes. We're going to a game 5.
5 losses in a row, but it took all this to get the reverse sweep in motion. Game 5 just after this. His time blast going into the back lane.
Fight to him.
The moment Iron look to try and answer back into this game. In comes Jovi, there goes the equalizer. Not the best